Greetings, everybody. Shiv here. So, as you can tell by the picture, we're going to talk about that next new unknown big thing coming to Hearthstone, July 22nd. Now, I did a little bit of research, kind of asked around to a lot of my contacts and even some of them over at Blizzard, and a lot of them are either A, tight-lipped, or B, have no fucking clue of what's going on here. So, with the only piece of information we have is this picture with this announcement on it that originally was sent to PC Gamer and later picked up by like every other Hearthstone news agency out there. All right, so we're gonna read this through. We're gonna do some speculations and all that, and try to break this down. All right. Well met, hero. Yes, the voice is required. Champions are gathering from around the world to witness the next exciting thing Hearthstone has in store. News travels far and wide in search of brave new faces, ready to answer the call to arms. Are you one of them? Muster for battle and mark, even though that looks like an H on there, that's actually a K. July 22nd on your calendar. The next bit of news won't come by carrier pigeon hyphen. Thankfully, we have much better ways of communication now. Victory awaits. Hearthstone symbol, Blizzard, blah, blah, blah. Okay. So, cool. Very ambiguous. But is there any information we can kind of draw from this, maybe? All right. I'm all out of tinfoil, or I'd make the hat. But all right. So I'm looking here. Now you'll notice like the the first letters of each paragraph are capitalized. CM. No, it really doesn't do anything here. But now let's look at those first words. Champions. Okay. Muster for battle. Okay, well, the word champion appears repeatedly in Paladin, and then you've got muster for battle, which is a Paladin spell. So we might actually be seeing something in relevance to Paladins to some degree. And okay, this is just me, shooting the shit off the top of my head and brainstorming here, right? Well, the first thing that comes to mind in this is Arthas. I'm I almost feel like we might actually be seeing an announcement for a new hero. I mean, it's been speculated that Death Knight would come into the game eventually as well as Monk, but the devs have been like kind of dismissing that and not really like answering questions on that. So I mean that might give some validity to it. Like they didn't want to give away too many plans. I know they did say something about like in the future we may look into doing that. So I mean that's one way, but I mean we're basically like theorizing here on the loosest amount of evidence. All right, so we could see a new class. It is very possible. I think that would be kind of cool. I can't wait to see what's all going to be available to it because I've played Death Knights quite a bit, and I know some of their abilities. And if you retranslate them over into this game, they might be a little, well, insane. If you thought Hunter was a great tank, or not Hunter, Warrior was a great tanking class with control and all that, Death Knight would be even better. Because you're talking about armor and healing while dealing damage at the same time. That might actually break it. So, yeah. All right. So, what else could we have here? I mean, is there any other thing that we could extrapolate from this? Could it be another adventure mode? Sure, it could. It might actually be a combination of an adventure mode and a new hero coming into the game. That is possible. I mean, we did Naxxramas. We've done Molten Core and Blackwing Lair. So as you're going through all the stuff here, I guess like the next logical conclusion would be either some of the sub or the lesser played, not the main core tier raids, which you're talking about ZG if you're going along in chronological here, ZG, um, AQ 2040, but at the same time, Naxxramas was actually like the came out of sequence here, so I don't know. Uh, but I mean, Ice Crown Citadel wouldn't be too bad, I guess. It would kind of completely skip the entire Outland experience. So I don't know that we might actually see that yet. So I'm moving less away from possible new character because it just I think they'd be missing out on a great amount of wealth that they could have from Outland going to Outland first. So who knows? Um, but the whole mustering for battle thing, gather your forces here. If for those of you who actually were playing Vanilla WoW right when it transitioned into um, Burning Crusade, there was actually this huge fight right in front of the Dark Portal that you had to slay like these giant Dread Infernals, and you had to kill a certain amount of them before you could go through the portal. Right? A lot of people don't remember this part. Which, by the way, that was a nightmare scenario playing on a PvP server. Holy crap! There was like epic scale warfare. That expansion crashed so many servers like day one. It was hilarious. Um, but eventually we got through. So yeah. So we might get that because the whole muster for battle thing, and champions. Each player is their own champion in World of Warcraft, so I guess that kind of actually plays relevance there, possibly. But okay, there's really not much we can get here. I mean, the whole better ways of communication, maybe a chat system. I doubt it because that'd be like the worst fucking idea for this game. You think this game's toxic already? Now allow people to talk shit more so than emotes. No. Could it be more skins for the other heroes? Possibly. But why? Why make this? No. This wouldn't warrant this amount of photoshopping in this, production here. I don't think so. I mean, they actually put a lot of work into this. If you look, there's watermarks on the paper and things of that nature, So no, I don't think it's going to be new skins. A new adventure mode or maybe new packs. Possibly. That's actually really possible because before GVG came out, a lot of like the news agencies and the top streamer players and stuff of that nature got these little packets from Blizzard. I know Noxus got one. It was like a harvest golem or something or other, and it had like the mechanical designs, like almost a blueprint style there to basically build hype up and. So I mean, maybe we could be seeing more packs. Um, but let's look at things that are not basically consumer based. All right. Because, adventure mode, you got to either A, spend money, or B, spend gold. Packs, again, money or gold. So that's consumer driven content. With Tavern Brawl, we're seeing non consumer driven content, which a lot of people like. It's actually the only true casual that there is in Hearthstone now. Because you try playing a regular casual, you got people literally using like laddering net decks to easy grind money. Is why I don't get that, but all right. So we might be seeing something like that. So let's think of what it could possibly be. Well, I know the first thing that comes to mind is a 2v2 mode. Yeah, this is something people have been wanting, 2v2 mode, which opens up so many possibilities. We might see some 2v2 tournaments, which could be interesting as fuck. All right? Really interesting, guys. So 2v2, that would be kind of cool. But it would literally mean a total redesign of the UI, and it just went through some minor tweaks on that UI. But who knows? That might actually happen. It might actually work. I think that would be really cool. Other things, tournament lobby, something that people have been asking for forever. I doubt they would make this huge little announcement poster for more deck slots, though in the whole Twitch chat sense of a joke, this would make some sense. People have been begging for more deck slots forever and a day. So they're going to release it, but they've decided to make this huge fanfare just to fuck with people. I would not be completely surprised by that. I would laugh my ass off, and people will be butthurt as a motherfucker if that's all this is. Um, so yeah, tournament lobby. I would love a tournament lobby with um, with both Blizzard having little like events happening every day that people could participate in. Um, I think that would be really cool. Um, but at the same time, I kind of wish that they also had like organizers being able to set up tournaments within there, right? But then that opens up a few interesting issues of only sanctioned organizers or only such and such and such and such. Uh, there are ways of getting around that, obviously, by setting certain limitations of tournament. It will run from such and such, such. People must sign up. Blah 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 blah. Yeah, things of that nature. So I mean, that does set up a couple interesting things, but I don't know if we're gonna see that. I'd love to see it. I really would. But the more I think about it, the more I'm kind of like, so I don't know. I don't know. I mean, we got some really interesting possibilities. We could see so many different things here. Mm. Another thing we might actually see is Tavern Brawl Ladder. This was actually suggested in one of the forums, like, hey, you know what, Tavern Brawl is an amazing experience and all that, you know, but the stats go away every single week. Why don't we make like a ladder for it? That way we can see who the best of the best are of doing this. And you know, that's kind of interesting. It really is. The only issue I have with that is the brawl is only open from like a certain amount of time, and they kind of have to do it that way because you have to basically deactivate one brawl and install a new brawl before that brawl starts, right? So there's a little up and down time there, which makes sense. So, I mean, people would have a very limited time to grind it out. But if they do something like that, that does open up possibilities of Tavern Brawl tournaments, which would be fucking amazing. I know people have already talked about doing that. I know a couple large organizations have had that presented to them. And if that happens, that'd be great. Um, Another thing we could possibly see is a universal collection system, i.e., you can carry your collection from server to server to server, not having to buy that there. I doubt we'll see that because that's literally cutting Blizzard's throat. And then what about everybody who already has complete collections on like EU and NA? What do they get out of that? Absolutely nothing. They get fucked. So I don't think we'll ever see that. It would cause too many problems. I know a lot of the newer player base and the competitive player base, or people starting to get into the competitive player base, would love that. That means it's less money they actually have to invest in the game. But at the same time, Blizzard is a company. They're out to make money, and that would be like cutting their profits. And I don't think that's going to happen. So we have a lot of possibilities here, guys. We really do. Personally, I would love another adventure mode. I would not be opposed to new packs. I would not be opposed to any of the things we've discussed. These would all be really, really great. And we might actually get like a package sort of thing. It may not just be one or the other. It might be several things. Okay? Several things. There's also one other one I'm going to point out here, and it just now occurred to me. GVG was released in December, right? Now, Blizzard, whenever they have any kind of content that comes out, it normally takes them a while to evaluate the balancing potential of if this is too strong. Case in point, Undertaker. Undertaker existed in the meta for 7 months unchecked before anything was done to him. This led to a lot of butthurt feelings about balance and how they lacked the ability to do anything. And I've basically been going around making a joke about it. It's like, oh, well, you got to wait 7 months before they do anything about balance. Right? Because, the Undertaker scenario. Well, GVG came out in December, so this is damn near 8 months now. So, yeah, and we haven't seen any kind of balancing, like, any real serious balance changes made to any cards. So this might be just the announcement to let you know that Dr. Boom is getting a nerf. I highly doubt it, but it's funny to think about. It's like, haha, champions, this bane of your existence is now less powerful. Have a nice day. Probably won't happen, but man, would that be such an epic troll if it was. Holy shit. Much in the same way the deck slot thing would be such an epic troll. It really would. Personally though, if it's a adventure mode, I would have to speculate that it's either going to be something in Outland, very possible, or the AQs. Personally, I would like to see AQ because that would introduce a lot of really cool shit. A lot of cool shit. Outland, yeah, there's a lot of cool shit out there too. But a lot of that stuff is already in the game. Like, look at the Arcane Golem. So, uh, now some people have theorized, poorly I might add, that hey, maybe they're going to be changing the hero powers up. Okay. Basically, and this is an idea I myself have toyed around with, a lot of people have toyed around and thrown out and whatever, and discussed. Basically adding multiple different hero powers that you pick during your deck creation for your hero. Thus, your hero power does not dictate entirely the playstyle, i.e., Hunter, because its hero power is so damn oppressive, is pretty much dictated into playing a very aggressive style deck. Even the mid range is highly aggressive. So, changing that up would actually add more diversity to the meta because it would create more complexity of deck design. There is an inherent downside with this. Grinding up the ladder would be a clusterfuck at that point. Like, literally, when you have too much diversity in the meta, you actually get this little thing where nobody can advance very far because of the system that they've designed, right? So, there'd be less people at Legend. Yeah. So, that might be a little bit problematic to implement in any way. So I don't think we will see that too much because as you start playing around with the hero powers, you're inevitably going to start copying other hero powers just because a lot of the classes have shared purposes across. Like you look at paladins, they're known as a healing class. In World of Warcraft, they're also a tanking class. They're also a DPS class, burst DPS. So that's a little that would be really wonky because if paladins could now also heal, then wouldn't they just be like an armor plated priest? There's a lot of things that really kind of screw with that. So I don't think we're gonna see that at all. And if we do, that's just coffin nail. Well, I can't really say coffin nail because you know what? We don't know what those powers would be. They might be inferior or better or whatever. So I don't know. But it is definitely interesting to think about, but in practice, it would probably be a really bad idea here. So adventure mode, I want AQ40 or possibly something from Outlands. Um, if it's a new pack expansion, if it's a pack expansion, it's probably going to be based on Outlands. To be perfectly honest with you, it'll be based on Outlands. Even though a great amount of those characters and um, minions from Outland are already in the game, there's still a lot more that aren't, and I think we could see that. But I still don't think we're going to get Death Knight just because chronologically it really doesn't make sense. So anyway, that's my 2 cents, all 20 some odd minutes of it, actually 19. Um, so yeah, if you like these videos, please like, subscribe, leave comments down below. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know what you think this could be. You got an idea that I haven't suggested yet? Do you have some insider information? Let me know. I want to see some discussion on this, guys. What do you think this is going to be? Anyway, till next time, this is Shiv saying thank you very much, and may Orange Jesus bless you. Peace.